¿Cómo están? Vamos a hablar de un tema que me apasiona, me parece increíble, que se ha estado hablando muy intensamente durante los últimos 2 o 3 meses y probablemente se ha incrementado aún más, claro, porque Elon Musk mencionó esto.
Like we see a path to putting 100 gigawatts per year of solar-powered AI satellite into orbit.
Y claro, ustedes saben que cuando Elon dice algo, afecta seguramente a muchas industrias, a muchas empresas, y esto creo que fue además, el tema de los data centers en órbita es algo que se vino hablando ya hace bastante tiempo, pero esto fue quizás lo que ha disparado que en las últimas semanas muchas empresas hayan afirmado su decisión y su intención de estar poniendo centros de datos o data centers en órbita baja de la Tierra. Algo realmente increíble. Quizás estamos en los albores, en los primeros pasos de que una industria pesada la saquemos del planeta y la llevemos a la órbita, al LEO, a la órbita baja de la Tierra. Es algo increíble. Y una de las empresas que está en la vanguardia realizando este tipo de actividades y queriendo, con planes concretos, llevar data centers a órbita es StarCloud. Así que me comuniqué con ellos y tuve una linda charla con Philip Johnston, que es uno de los fundadores de StarCloud y CEO de la compañía, para que me cuente qué onda, qué pasa que todo el mundo está hablando ahora de poner centros de datos en órbita y por qué. ¿Qué es lo que más está, qué fue lo que disparó que esto sea tan importante? Y es una entrevista particular porque, no se enojen conmigo, la voy a interrumpir en un par de ocasiones porque no es un tema 100% espacial, ¿no? Estamos hablando de una industria que existe ya hace muchos años en la Tierra. No es una misión, una cobertura de una misión tripulada, no es una misión interplanetaria, no es un lanzamiento. Por lo tanto, voy a tratar de dar un poco de contexto y de historia para que entiendan quizás lo que no saben exactamente cómo funciona un data center, para entender la importancia de lo que estamos hablando y de por qué es vital llevar estos data centers a la órbita baja de la Tierra. Bueno, vamos. Philip, how are you? It's a pleasure to meet you and thank you so much for your time. I know you're busy. You are everywhere. How how are you?
Thanks very much for having me. Yeah, I'm doing great. How about you?
I'm fine. I was wondering what happened. What did I miss? Because during the last 2-3 months, everybody's talking about data centers in space. I don't. Maybe I'm wrong, but I wonder something happened. What triggered to have this conversation? Not only I think you are on the forefront of communicating this, but from SpaceX, from Amazon, Google. Everybody's talking right now of having data centers in space. What happened?
Yeah, I mean, the rough timeline, we've been talking about it for about 2 years. I think it's like, it's been super obvious for us for ages, so we kind of knew it was coming, but what changed in the last few weeks is Nvidia did a post about our launching the H100 in space. It went kind of viral, it had millions of views and things. And then Elon commented on the post. A few people were saying it's not possible because of thermals, and then Elon commented saying, actually, it is possible. And then that kicked off a big storm. And then what really kicked it off was like 2 or 3 weeks ago, he gave this interview where he said SpaceX is going to build 300 gigawatts per year of orbital compute. And then everyone kind of woke up, because if that's true, that makes it like kind of by far the largest industry ever. And I mean, my view is that is true. And if it is going to be the largest industry ever, then it's like really worth paying attention to early.
Bueno, déjenme que les muestre, este tweet de Nvidia en la que menciona Philip, en el cual dice: estamos por lanzar este procesador, el GPU, el Nvidia H100, ¿no? Y en el cual Elon Musk en algún momento respondió: sí, esto es posible, porque empezó toda una discusión. Espera, a ver si se los puedo mostrar. Empezó toda una discusión como diciendo, mucha gente diciendo esto es imposible, no se puede mandar un GPU a la órbita baja de la Tierra, radiación, temperatura. Bueno, Elon Musk no solamente estaba diciendo que sí, sí es posible, sino que además dándole esta entrevista a Ron Barron. Ustedes saben que Ron Barron es una casi cual leyenda en el mundo financiero en Estados Unidos, bancos de inversión, y después tiene una especie de congreso que hace anualmente en la empresa Barron Capital, y él entrevista a muchas personas influyentes en el mercado, y por lo general Elon Musk no es la primera vez que está, y esto fue lo que le dijo a Ron Barron hace 2 semanas.
Like we see a path to putting 100 gigawatts per year of solar-powered AI satellite into orbit. And having this be actually the lowest cost way to power and operate AI at a very large scale. For reference, the United States consumes roughly 460 gigawatts on average per year. Like the average power load in the U.S. is 460 gigawatts.
The whole country.
All electricity of all sources in the U.S., yes.
And you're talking about 100 being added.
Well, roughly a quarter of the U.S. electricity output. And we have a plan mapped out to do that. It gets crazy.
Y después vemos cómo se suma a Jeff Bezos, y después el CEO de Google también hizo un posteo en el cual explicaba la importancia de poner estos procesadores de AI o de inteligencia artificial en la órbita baja de la Tierra. Yeah, because you see things like this. You see Jeff Bezos talking about it, then Google talking about it. So it says, okay, something is going on. You know, this is something that touches me in a particular way, because I remember working in the data center industry back in the day, in the early 2000s. Remember the exodus of the world? We were implementing that in Latin America. Construction, these 1,000 square meter, huge data centers. And then the most important or the huge battle was convincing CTOs, CFOs, and CEOs that they needed to outsource their mission critical IT infrastructure. And it was tough because most of them were like, don't even touch my servers. They are here in my room. I want them. And I know that many things happen in the middle. We went from data centers to hyperscale data centers. Then it came the cloud, big data. Now we have AI. But now thinking in having those data centers to space is crazy to me. It's fascinating. Bueno, déjenme acá hacer otro paréntesis porque les quiero dar un poquito de contexto y de historia y de por qué me toca tan de cerca. Y yo le estaba diciendo a Philip que yo trabajé varios años en data centers en Argentina, en México, allá por los inicios del 2000. ¿Se acuerdan la burbuja de las .com? Bueno, en las burbujas de las .com fue cuando empezó básicamente el negocio de los data centers y de la tercerización de infraestructura IT. Entonces, claro, todo el mundo estaba lanzando su website, no solamente websites personales, todas las empresas empezaron a poner sus ofertas y cosas online. Ya se empezaba a vislumbrar el comercio electrónico por primera vez, empezaban las primeras transacciones online, fines de los 90, principios de los 2000. Y en algún lugar había que poner todos estos servidores, ¿no? Entonces comenzaron la construcción de data centers. El líder en su momento era Exodus Communications en Estados Unidos, y en Latinoamérica nosotros intentamos replicar ese modelo, y en su momento terminamos de construir el data center más grande de Latinoamérica, en Pacheco, en la provincia de Buenos Aires. Acá encontré algunas fotos para compartir con ustedes. Yo seguramente esta foto no la saqué yo, pero yo debo estar ahí adentro. Y para que ustedes se den una idea, eran no solamente los websites, era ir a hablar con los directores de finanzas, directores de IT o los CEOs de las empresas, y explicarles de la importancia de que se saquen de encima los servidores que tenían en la empresa en un cuartito con 3, 4 racks y todos los cables en el piso, y que los puedan poner en un data center tercerizado con super seguridad, acceso biométrico y que puedan tener acceso remoto a todas sus aplicaciones críticas y que se puedan concentrar en su propio negocio. No, bueno, esto era un drama porque ninguna empresa se quería, era muy difícil convencerlos de sacarse de encima a sus bebés, ¿no? A sus servidores. Hoy por hoy todo eso está súper aceptado. Creo que no hay ninguna empresa grande que no tenga sus principales aplicaciones críticas en la nube, en Amazon Web Services, en Microsoft Azure. Bueno, eso está totalmente aceptado, pero en ese momento empezamos con esa batalla cultural. Y además los data centers, fíjense, acá les muestro un cuadro de cómo fueron progresando los data centers cada 10 años, de los 2000 a los 2010, de los 2010 a los 2020. Fíjense cómo cada vez se transformaron en más grandes. Estaban basados en arquitectura CPU, los procesadores CPU, ¿no? De las computadoras, y cómo después, hoy por hoy, se han transformado en procesadores GPU o TPU de Google, ¿no? Graphics Processing Unit. Estos procesadores que hoy por hoy tienen capacidad de hacer millones de procesos al mismo tiempo, machine learning, y seguramente cada vez que le preguntamos a ChatGPT algo, o a Gemini, o a Perplexity, son los que nos dan la respuesta en fracciones de segundo. Pero claro, fíjense acá, la cantidad de energía que consume un rack en los 2000 o en los 2010 comparado a lo que consume un rack hoy por hoy con chips de inteligencia artificial. Estamos hablando de varios factores superiores. Y yo me acuerdo cuando en el data center, simplemente con tener un buen aire acondicionado y sistemas de redundantes de energía, tenemos unos generadores de electricidad que parecían unas locomotoras. Pero yo me tenía que poner una campera porque me moría de frío en el data center. Habría entre 10 y 20 grados de temperatura centígrados. Bueno, eso hoy por hoy no es suficiente, porque la temperatura que levantan estos procesadores GPU de inteligencia artificial hacen falta unos sistemas de enfriamiento muy superiores que son mucho más costosos. Se necesita mucha más capacidad, no solamente de energía para que funcione, sino además de agua para realizar todo el enfriamiento. Así que la complejidad de la construcción de un data center lleva a un punto que a futuro es casi imposible de escalar. Y cómo el chip, mientras estoy mostrando varias imágenes de cómo se ven los data centers actuales. Fíjense que en el 2000 teníamos este data center que después se fueron esparciendo en Latinoamérica, Brasil, México. Hoy por hoy hay data centers de este estilo en muchos lugares de Latinoamérica. Pero cada vez después llegaron los hiper data centers, la nube, Big Data, Internet de las Cosas, y que cada vez necesitaba más capacidad de procesamiento, más racks, más capacidad de enfriar. Hoy por hoy pasamos de tener un aire acondicionado fuerte para que los racks se enfríen a esto. Fíjense, inmersión líquida de los chips en líquidos especiales, con reciclaje para que los procesadores no levanten temperatura. Y hoy por hoy tenemos pasillos y pasillos de estos racks en centros gigantes. Por eso es básicamente una industria pesada. Y lo fascinante que es, imagínense, en ese momento nos costaba un montón convencer a una empresa de que me dé 3, 4 servidores, nos dé unos racks para que los puedan poner en el centro de datos. Hoy estamos hablando de llevar un data center entero de esta magnitud a la órbita baja, sacarla del planeta y llevarla a la órbita baja de la Tierra, que es lo que quiere hacer StarCloud. Es impresionante.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's definitely an evolution. I think my view is this is like the last step in an evolution towards building a Dyson sphere. So,
Seriously?
yeah, I mean, if you just extend out intelligent life long enough, a few thousand years maybe, you end up with a Dyson sphere, which is just like data centers in space, basically. It's like huge solar panels powering orbital compute. And this is like the first step in basically the largest market opportunity ever by maybe 10 orders of magnitude.
Wow. Otra cosa fascinante que dice Philip de las esferas de Dyson, ¿no? Perdón que interrumpo de vuelta, pero para explicarles un poquito de qué se trata. Freeman Dyson era un físico teórico, un astrofísico, ¿no? Que allá por el 1960 él dio la teoría de que civilizaciones muy avanzadas en el universo, ¿no? Si es que existen, puede ser que construyan lo que se llama esferas de Dyson, ¿no? Que son especies de esferas artificiales alrededor de su estrella. Supongamos que en un sistema solar hay una civilización tan avanzada que no da abasto con la energía que producen en su propio planeta para seguir creciendo como civilización. Por lo tanto, lo que hacen es cubrir con paneles solares o con objetos determinados toda una estrella para absorber la energía total de esa estrella y tener energía ilimitada para seguir su crecimiento. Bueno, lo que dice Philip es, probablemente los data centers en órbita sean la primera versión o nuestras esferas de Dyson, que en realidad pueden ser esferas como pueden ser un enjambre de objetos que reciban la energía de una estrella y la canalicen hacia el planeta de esta civilización, en este caso nosotros, para que podamos seguir creciendo y podamos tener energía básicamente ilimitada. Y es lo que podemos ver si estos data centers de kilómetros y kilómetros cuadrados de energía solar de diferentes empresas están en la órbita baja de la Tierra, o quizás más allá también, empiezan a generar reciben energía ilimitada del Sol y nos proveen de energía, cosa que podamos seguir creciendo como civilización. O sea que no es descabellado pensar que estos data centers en órbita, la primera industria pesada que la humanidad pueda sacar del planeta, se transforme en la esfera de Dyson, ¿no? que Freeman Dyson vislumbró allá por 1960. Increíble. Yeah, because I was doing my homework and trying to understand, and yeah, I remember you could build a data center, a huge data center anywhere you want, but then with these AI chips, it is incredible how it transformed the way data centers are built. It's basically around the chip and where, and if I have access to water, to power. So there's a lot of requirements that AI needs. So going to space makes sense, I guess.
Yeah, 100%. It's really an energy play. If we're going to need, just to meet the demand of AI over the next 3 years, we're needing an additional 50 or 100 gigawatts of new energy in the US alone. So yeah, I don't see us building sort of 50 to 100 gigawatts of new nuclear power stations or any other type of form. So you just need to, the only place you can do it is building these huge data centers in space, basically.
So basically the main trigger is we are lacking the energy and the cooling systems right now to scale AI?
Yes, energy in particular. Cooling's not too bad, but if you want to build a new gigawatt scale energy project, you're looking at like a 5 or 10 year long lead time on permitting in the US, whereas we can launch these things, within a month. So not a month of today, but once we're up and running and manufacturing, we'll be able to launch them with the zero lead time on permitting, basically.
I was trying to see. This looks like science fiction to me. It's incredible, but I guess this is amazing. And so those huge containers are full of racks, right?
Yes.
And the idea is how. And look at this. This is the 4 kilometer. It's basically 4 square kilometer. No, 16 square kilometer solar panels, right?
Yeah. I should be very clear. This is a render. This doesn't exist.
Yeah, of course. But these are your plans.
Yes, these are our plans. In fact, it'll be much bigger than that in the insect. We chose to show this one because this one is like slightly larger than the largest data center in the world right now. But it's going to be, if you have like 300 gigawatts of new capacity per year, it's a lot more than what we're showing in this video.
I was reading your white paper where basically the company is explaining why we need this in orbit. What are the main reasons and the infrastructure and the cooling systems. So this is the graphics of, what we just saw in the renders, this is full of racks inside.
Yes.
And I understand this is a great, this is the first step. What we see right now.
Operation confirmed.
You've got to play it again just so you hear the StarCloud bit of that.
Yeah. So there you go.
StarCloud 1, separation confirmed.
It's such a beautiful video. Now you get.
You must be very proud. And actually, correct me if I'm wrong. This is the first Nvidia H100 GPU in orbit. Correct.
Yes, correct.
And the idea was to start doing a thermal or cooling test for then going to StarCloud 2. How this is going?
Good. It's going very well. We'll announce some big milestones in the coming weeks. But I won't talk too much about the results yet because we're holding off to make some more formal announcements. But it's going better than I expected.
How are you going to cool all this? I mean, I know we're in space. We don't have water. We don't have wind. We don't have air. So basically, it's through radiators. But are these racks going to be immersed in liquid, or is basically an radiator flowing the heat through the radiators?
Yeah, exactly. It's exactly like direct-to-chip liquid cooling for the new kind of architectures around the Blackwell chip, for example. The architectures they're designing for is direct-to-chip liquid cooling, and then we pump that liquid out to these radiators, and then they emit in infrared the heat. We'll actually keep the whole box in a nitrogen atmosphere so that we can blow fans across the smaller components. Otherwise, you end up just building up this heat on these very tiny components that are not the chips themselves, but they're more like tiny transistors and resistors on the motherboards and things. So we'll have the whole thing in a nitrogen atmosphere.
I understand that. Well, this is the long-term scenario. We saw the renders maybe several years down the road. It's also the price of launching, the fact that now we have more affordable launch systems, the fact that this is making this possible?
Yes. Without SpaceX in particular, this would be impossible. So the cost of launch came down. With the shuttle, it was about $60,000 a kilo. Now we're paying about $5,000 a kilo. You used to be able to pay something like that, but it would be, no. Let's say it would have been like $10,000 or $15,000 a kilo, but you had to buy the whole mission. So you're talking about hundreds of millions of dollars to buy the whole mission. We paid $300,000 to launch our first satellite, which is an absolute bargain.
It's incredible. Wow.
Unbelievable. Yeah.
And I'm imagining that you saw with really good eyes the successful launch of New Glenn, because it could open in the future possibilities to have multiple launchers.
Yes. We very much hope so.
What is your response? Well, I was going to ask you, what is your most difficult obstacles of reaching, getting a data center in orbit? But it's a problem to you when Elon says, "Oh, we're going to build this like X thousands of data centers in orbit." It makes you think, I'm in trouble, or it validates your point, like, okay, I'm in the right spot.
It has pros and cons. Until quite recently, the first question investors would ask is like these kind of got your questions to like prove that we're dumb kind of thing. So they would be like, have you thought about the fact that space is a vacuum and you can't emit heat? Like, that is actually the entire company is like building deployable radiators. But now that's switched. Nobody asks those questions anymore. They jump straight to the "isn't Elon going to crush you?" question. I think I prefer this type of question because at least this type of question means they're taking us seriously as a viable thing. I think it would be worrying if there was nobody else doing it now by this point. So yeah, it's good. It's good for us.
And it's not only the companies that I mentioned in the US. It's China with a project. There's another company in Singapore. There's another company that wants to implement like disaster recovery storage in the moon. So for now, for StarCloud, it's basically LEO, correct?
That's correct.
What are your next steps? Because I understand that StarCloud 1 is in orbit. You're testing technology. StarCloud 2, first commercial satellite, maybe next year, maybe 2027.
Yep.
And then your idea is to implement edge computing data centers, providing services to satellites in orbit, observation satellites, commercial space station.
Yes.
How are your plans going along?
Yeah, all good. So second launch is going up in October next year. It has 100 times the power generation of the first one. It will be has by far the largest commercial radiator in space. And then so that one basically provides cloud and edge services for other satellites, and then we basically scale up from there. So we're launching a much bigger one. So much bigger one in 2027, and then again larger in 2028.
How are you going to deal with bandwidth? Because these gigawatts data centers just on Earth, they're consuming a tons amount of bandwidth.
Yeah.
So are we ready right now? Maybe yes for edge computing and providing the basic critical data to companies on Earth. But how are we going to deal with the amount of bandwidth needed? I don't think Starlink is enough.
I think Starlink is enough, actually. So it's a bit different from the Starlink user terminal you see in your garden, though.
Absolutely, I was going to say that. Yes. Okay.
Yeah. So from the second satellite onwards, I have to be a little bit careful what I talk about, but there's these optical constellations. You're right though. The first satellite have no connectivity, have very limited connectivity. The later versions will have optical into these backhaul networks. Each Starlink laser is 400 gigabit a second data rate.
Oh, okay.
Gigabit a second data rate. It's crazy, and you can have, they have 4 or 5 lasers per satellite. So I mean, there are whole data centers on Earth which only have like 100 gigabit a second data rate, in and out pipe. In the end state, those backhaul networks will be sufficient.
Philip, what are the risks of not having data centers in space in the near future? Are we losing competition? Because someone will do it. What are the main risks of not implementing this as soon as possible?
Yeah, well, I mean, there's sort of a carrot and a stick. The carrot is the promise of AI. So, new treatments for cancer, self-driving cars, a super smart AI in your pocket. The risks are the very sort of real risk of being left behind by competitor nations. I mean, the US is now building new energy projects at 10 times the rate of the US. And if that continues, it sort of inevitably leads to China having 10 times the AI capability of the US, which is definitely poses very real national security implications for the US. That's on the sort of, that's the carrot and the stick. Beyond that, you also just then have this whole environmental aspect where do you really want to be covering all of your countryside in solar panels? Probably not. Ideally, you wouldn't cover your pristine countryside in solar panels, which is the only way we're going to meet the energy demands on Earth. So you'd much rather just build all that in space. And same on the water. Do you want to suck up the rivers and reservoirs to keep them cool? No, probably not.
Philip, what are your biggest talking about StarCloud? What are your biggest concern? What is keep you up at night? How are we going to do with the solar panels? How are we going to do with radiators? What about connectivity? What is what is your main obstacle right now?
You mean StarCloud 2, the next one launching in October, or the one in orbit already? The one in orbit already is good. Nothing is really keeping me up at night about that at the moment. For the second one, there's 2 main technical challenges. One is building a very large, low-cost and low-mass deployable radiator. About 70% of the engineering team is working on that. And the second is how do we make these chips work in a high radiation environment? And the other 30% of the team is working on testing different chips in proton beam and heavy ion particle accelerators.
So from there to this render that we show at the beginning, we have several years.
Yes, I would say that's sort of mid-2030s till we're docking, things like that together.
And that's also, we need to count that Starship or New Glenn are going to be fully operative by then. Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Philip, it was a great pleasure talking to you. It's a fascinating subject because I've been working on that several years, and I love the fact that we're going to have data centers in orbit, helping to resolve so many issues back on Earth. So the best of luck with StarCloud 1, then StarCloud 2, and maybe we will have the chance to talk in the future about the results about them.
Yeah, I hope so.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Bueno, espero que lo hayan disfrutado como yo. Como se podrán haber dado cuenta, es un tema que me apasiona porque trabajé al respecto y yo en ese momento me sentía muy orgulloso de poder, de haber trabajado y tratando de haber, estaba librando esta batalla. Y yo desde el lado de marketing era un gran desafío de que en la comunicación tratar de ser lo más convincente posible para que las empresas puedan empezar a tercerizar sus productos y llevarlos a un data center, un lugar mucho más seguro y que puedan estar focalizados en sus negocios. Y el hecho de pensar que todo ese esfuerzo valió la pena y que ahora todo ese data center gigante se lo puede llevar a órbita, me parece una cosa increíble. Bueno, ojalá lo hayan disfrutado. Espero que le puedas, súper importante que le des like al video, que te suscribas, que es gratis al canal, que actives la campanita y por supuesto va la placa al final con todos los miembros pionero que siguen bancando el canal y que tan importante es para que sigamos creciendo y que sigamos haciendo contenido en español sobre el programa espacial desde acá, desde Cabo Cañaveral, al lado del Centro Espacial Kennedy y la base aérea espacial de Cabo Cañaveral. Así que nos vemos en el próximo video.